CRiiiME is a show where I, Rich Slaton, read a true story about lawbreakers.
With his wonderful co-host, Richard Slaton.
That's who I am. You're Jonathan Shefsky.
Play the fucking music.
Fuck yeah!
CRiiiME
Is the show that starts now!
now. Like right now?
Oh, yeah, do your line.
Okay. Each week, Rich reads a real crime story. I don't know a word that rhymes with story.
And my homie John always has the hot riff. He really loves it when you send...
Don't send anything to me. Don't you dare.
CRiiiMEpodcast@gmail.com.
Don't you send
Label
anything.
it John Shefsky. He loves them. Make sure the lighting's really good. Welcome back, criminals. It's so good for you to take time off from burglary, arson, train robbery, gunfighting,
Being teachers at schools,
occasional
defending
cannibalism,
people,
you know, whatever it is that you're doing.
feeding the homeless, maybe curing diseases. I don't know. How about some positive people in our group?
I mean,
It's all bank robbers.
You know what? Whatever you do you, because we're supportive. That's the vibe on this show.
We see the humanity in everyone.
And you know what's one thing that humans sometimes need is insurance.
That's
and you
right.
can get that from our friends at C3
Risk and Insurance Services. Slaton, you fucked it up.
Dude, I am all over the place today because I'm super duper excited. But most excited to tell you about this great insurance you can get from our friend Joseph Earl.
Joseph Earl.
Oh yeah, I gave you the full.
We call
The
him
full.
Joseph Mangala Earl every now and then. He doesn't like it, though.
But here's what he does like is when you go to c3insurance.com and get a policy from him, he gives you a $25 Amazon gift card to show his appreciation for you. So for home, auto, corporate, whatever type insurance you might need,
Yeah.
go ahead and hit him up and tell him that Shefsky sent you because apparently that works a lot. I
Dude,
don't know.
I loved having you read most of that ad read.
Yeah, well, you're about to have me read more because in May of this year, we're going to be in Nashville for CRiiiME. Guys, crime. If you like crime and all the things that involved with crime, you should go to Nashville this May. I think it's like May 4th through 6th. I probably should write down those dates for the read next time.
Yeah, you're the responsible adult of this
I
group.
am the responsible adult.
I thought you knew.
CRiiMEcon is going to feature everything about true crime and stuff that you like. It's headlined by Nancy Grace, who always talks about apparently babies in Florida that are dead or whatever.
That was your Alex Jones impression.
No, this is my Alex Jones impression, John
Yeah, just go
Shefsky.
super soft on that, and then,
If I
then
go
there's your
soft
Nancy
on it,
Grace.
Nancy Grace. So Nancy Grace is the headliner. There's a bunch of all your favorite true crime stuff. Also, a bunch of crime podcasts, including our friends from White Wine True Crime.
Oh, awesome.
So we're going to be there. We may be doing a live show in Nashville. So you can use the code. Go to CRiiiMEcon.com. Use the code CRiiiME with 3 I's, CRiiiME, and you get 10% off tickets to CRiiiMEcon. So if you're on the East Coast, you love us.
Come
to
see us.
Dude, it's Nashville,
Dude,
bruh.
you can see us and White Wine True Crime. What else do you
And
fucking
Nancy
want?
Grace, which everyone wants to see.
I don't know
Dude,
enough
that's
Nancy
all I
Grace
wanna
to,
see.
to promote her.
I'm not even going for us. I'm going to see her. That's what I'm there for. I don't even like her. I just want to see her because I love seeing people in person.
What's our next fucking ad?
You know who I love seeing in person more than all that? One of the funniest comedians, newly kind of new here at the Comedy Store, I guess in the last year or so. One of my favorite people with the best van in the entire damn game. Put your hands together for our good friend, Mr. Ron Taylor.
Yeah. What's going on? I'm here.
Every time we yelled, Ron, like, you could see his eyes open up a little bit and he kind of backed away from the microphone out of fear.
It's
I
intense.
mean, I didn't know that it was going to open up like that. And I felt like I jumped into a cartoon.
Yeah, that's,
Like
that's accurate.
before, for the listeners, before they hit start, I mean, everything was somber. It was like, hey, we got a little water. You want to go to the bathroom? And then they hit record, and it's like, hey, what's going on? It's Wacky Wednesday. It's like, Jesus
You feel like
Christ.
you're in Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
Slaton kind of looks at me. He's like, "You ready to go?" I'm like, "Let's go."
Turn up,
And then
bro.
we just go crime.
And we take swings, dude.
Can I
That's
ask
what's up.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Question
on the back.
One of his credits just now was his van.
Dude, he has
what
the
the
best
fuck's the matter
van.
with you? People's credits are their vans. That's like when people
I
used to
asked
bring
him
me
if
to
he
the
wanted me
stage.
to tell all the cool things that he does in comedy, but he was like, nah, bro, I'm okay. So I talk about my favorite part about him, which is his van.
God, you're weird. You're a weird kiss ass.
Dude, well, you know what?
I'd love to see your automobile so I can make a decision from
We'll do
there.
the post-show picture of the three of us with the van.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool van. It's helped me out a lot in life.
John Darwin
Is he related to Darwin?
was born August 14th, 1950 in Hartlepool, England.
Hartlepool, England.
He grew up in the neighboring village of Blackhall Rocks, a small town that mostly existed to provide workers for the local mines. As he put it, John came from a family that was, quote, working class with middle class aspirations. His mother was a dietitian, his father a bricklayer, As a boy,
Also a pipe layer. That boy was born.
He did lay a little bit of pipe. You know what I'm saying?
Did you know I would comment on bricklaying from pipe
No,
laying?
I actually didn't, and I should have seen it coming, and I feel bad about myself for not having seen it.
Ron, did you just lean over and vomit? What happened over there?
No, it's clearing my throat so I can talk about this weird ass story already.
Let him clear his throat.
My first thing in hearing this, I was immediately looking for something black, but nothing. I heard nothing black. First of all, 1950, no black. Worked middle class, no black.
England.
There you go, no black. So continue.
The place is called like Black Hall. Are you talking about black people?
Yeah, it's called Black Hall. Black Hall rocks on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
So that's
when you
kind of
put
black.
it that way.
Yeah, there you go. Congrats, man.
All right.
Black Hall rocks. It's like Cleveland rocks at the end of the Drew Carey intro. Black Hall rocks.
Yeah, but it really doesn't. It's not a good town.
Okay.
As a boy, John was so small, he got the nickname Dinky.
What was his nickname as a girl?
Slinky.
Oh, that's funny.
Slinky? Inverted puss lady, man? Can you bring some more biscuits over? Sorry.
Oh, man. The only time he was ever noticed was at 17, when the local paper ran a humorous article about Dinky getting covered in sewage while kayaking at sea.
What?
Dinky got run over by sewage while up on the water boats.
Why was there sewage in the sea?
Because it's England, bruh. It's all messed up.
Yeah, you don't know about
They
England?
shit in the streets.
Oh,
They don't-
man.
They pee on each other mostly
they don't
because
have
they're too
toilets.
packed in close. Their houses touch.
Christ. That's gross. All
No,
right.
no, he's abandoned the entire country.
That's what happens when you have a queen instead of a president.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, if only they got aboard our system, they could have a leader like we do.
Yeah, you don't need health care, you pussies.
Duh. As John saw it, staying in the rocks meant your options were limited to either working at a close-by mine or taking a bus to the other mine.
That's depressing. Oh, it's already like cold outside because you're in England.
It's like one of those cities where you're like, well, you can work at this Walmart or the Walmart 20 miles away.
Oh, so it is just like America.
It's just like America.
Just with I'd rather
Except
work at
for-
Walmart than at
Except
mine.
for we keep our sewage under the road like you're supposed to, as opposed to in our ocean.
Is the crime of this story just living in England? Just being in a shitty place? That's the crime. That's it. Most of the time, these are long stories. That's it. That is the crime.
Paragraph 2, finished. All right, guys, it's been fun. Let's go take that picture in the van.
Thanks for listening, guys. Stay tuned for a clip from a bonus episode. End of the show.
As a boy, he once saw 2 kids his own age walking home covered head to toe in soot from a day of sorting coal.
So he was like, I want to be like them and get myself a job.
Nope. After graduation, he left town to attend university and returned in 1972, taking a job teaching science and math at a local career college.
Oh.
That same year, he married his high school sweetheart.
This guy has the dream life. Mm-hmm. He made it out of the mines. He didn't have to work the mines, the Zoolander route, right?
Yeah, instead he teaches people how to, like, I don't know, calculate pipes. I don't know what you do at what he taught really at that career college.
I don't know. Yeah.
What was the science in 1950?
Well, by now it's 1972, so, they figured out joints,
Yeah.
I guess.
1972, they were like, if you play the dark side of the moon while watching Wizard of Oz, they match up. Science. Bam.
Bro, you get a PhD, dog.
Right?
In dope.
Pretty hot dope.
Oh, man, this is awesome, man. You should be a doctor, man.
1970. All right. I'm here.
Yeah, you have that's our 1970 voice, not the voice that you identify with for 1970.
No, we need that. Slayton, we need someone to be so mature and so focused that we go through a whole 20-calorie burning riff.
Dude, yeah, I
And then they
lost
just
weight.
go, yeah, it's 1970. Move on.
I should I should get my
it's good.
headshots done right now.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm really trying to pay attention to the story.
Look at this guy, a responsible human being who's going to ask no questions of things because he's on board.
Well, you got him busy thinking about his fucking van. He's like, we're talking about this. He's like, fuck, I'm going to have him over to the van after we're done with this story.
I didn't even put away my underwear.
Yeah, my
Jeez.
stuff's just laying out.
Anne Stevenson also grew up in the rocks.
This is a chick. This is his high school sweetheart. What'd she look like? Cheerleader?
Raised in a devout Catholic family,
Hot already.
she attended school at St. Joseph's Convent, where all the teachers were nuns.
Oh, I'm so sorry for her.
Yuck.
How'd she learn about everything outside of the world?
She was a quiet, studious girl with striking good looks. She even won a beauty pageant in her teens where she was crowned Miss Blackhall Colliery,
Colliery?
which I think I might be mispronouncing that word. But it's,
Colliery, and he'll take care of all of your
you know what? The last time I mentioned the colliery, you said made the exact same joke.
Are you serious?
Which tells me that you're a robot, and I shouldn't have been trusting you this entire time.
Well, I honestly didn't know that I made that joke before. I apologize.
I have
to
a
you.
memory like a fucking safe.
I have the opposite kind of memory. You keep me in line, Slaton.
Her childhood was very sheltered. When she and John first met around 12 years old, he was shocked to discover that she had never tried cheese.
Yeah, you can't try cheese in a nun house.
Is that a rule?
Yeah, nuns don't like anything fun or enjoyable or anything. That's why they call them nuns.
Yeah, but just have provolone.
Would you like some? Nah.
None.
I'd like none.
I'd have none.
I'll have none of that.
Why was he shocked? Oh my God, you've never tried cheese?
If you met someone at 12 who'd never tried cheese, wouldn't you be like, wait, what the fuck happened?
My friend Kamel hadn't tried. Well, he hates cheese, by the way, but he hadn't tried sour cream and onion potato chips. He was like 28.
I mean, that's a more specific thing than the
That's
general
fucking
category
common.
of cheese.
Yeah, it's pretty close though.
The general category.
Yeah, sure. It's like saying you don't use paper. I
Pizza.
get it.
Anything that has bread and things in
Well, she
between
was
bread.
raised by nuns.
I mean, she was raised by parents, and then nuns would hit her on the wrist for like
I feel
looking
like-
at the ceiling wrong or whatever.
Oh.
Don't you guys feel like nuns would have cheese around? Like string cheese seems like a nun kind of thing you'd
No.
eat. Like you want some string cheese? God's okay with that, right?
No, man. Nuns, they drink water and fuck each other with crosses.
Specifically,
Yeah.
I gotta
That's-
watch some of these nun documentaries.
I had no
that you
idea. I
learned
had no
on.
idea
Yeah.
that a nunnery. Get thee to a nunnery so we can spread you out and get you ready for me.
That was Slaton. I don't talk like that about women.
Well, I mean, how do you solve a problem like Maria? And apparently, it's fuck her in a nunnery. So
Ave Maria. Squirt, squirt.
she graduated with certificates in shorthand and typing, landing a job as a secretary.
Wait a minute. Wait. What? She graduated with degrees in shorthand and type.
Well, with
shorthand?
I mean, she knows how to write.
Certificates in.
Big fucking whoop, bitch. It's 1970 and you get a certificate for knowing how to write?
That's
I
important.
mean, knowing how to write shorthand. So there's like
What is shorthand?
before computers and a lot of typewriters and stuff. Like it was a way of secretaries taking notes in a way like you're just talking. Right, you're just going, and instead of her having to write every single letter, every single word, shorthand's like a special
Symbols.
thing of like learning how
Like when
to
you write, you never write like with, you write the W and then the forward slash.
that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought they just gave her a certificate for learning how to write. It's
No,
like,
actually, what it was they gave her a certificate because her hand was too small.
Oh.
And they were like, bitch, the fact that you can write is impressive.
because she has a short hand. I get it.
There you go.
You thought she had a weird dysfunctional like arm that was like kind of hung off and like, look, she got that shorthand, but she can still write.
How many hands tall is this horse? Well, no, don't let Ann measure it
Don't
because
ask
we'll
Ann,
get
'cause
an
that'll-
inappropriate measurement.
37, but like 12 regular hands.
In their late teens, John began courting Anne, but the proper young lady repeatedly declined. Undeterred, he kept asking, and eventually she agreed to a date.
Milady, I could have been a minor before. I'm definitely a minor now. You're a minor, by the way. And he's, as he's got a minor, one of those minor lights on
Mining
his
helmet.
lamp on his forehead. He's like, you mind if I get to the cave, milady?
Spelunking, if you were.
Actually, English term, they would say spunking when you bust a nut. Spunked. Sorry, Mum.
Sorry, Mum.
Sorry, Mumsies.
Undeterred, oh yeah, I already said that. But her family was not impressed with the man pursuing their daughter. Even after their engagement, her devout parents forbade Anne from seeing her fiance
Even though he was a fucking
when
teacher?
they discovered that she was on birth control.
Oh, he'd already been having sex with this lady.
Which is wrong. Sex for any purpose other than having a baby is wrong. And I stand by that. And you know what? I'm going to go on a limb here. I know that I'm going to speak for John because I know he agrees. I'm going to say that's for everybody. If you're having sex for any purpose other than having a baby, that's ethically wrong.
It's disgusting. God's watching
That's the stance that this show takes.
It's taste that shit. Now,
which is why we have a good man like Ron Taylor here because he has never had sex because he's waiting to father a child.
Shit. Throw a child off a roof, man. Fuck babies.
Ron Taylor babysitting service, 1-800.
Crime episode 57, Ron Taylor.
Yeah. Ouch, he was a real mean daycare teacher.
Ron Taylor was born in Detroit, Michigan, sometime around 1990, give or take 5 years. So I'm not exactly sure how old he is.
Yeah, no, I've fucked for a lot of reasons other than to make children. I've fucked for housing. I fucked for room and board. I fucked for food.
Hold on. Let's rewind here for a second. You swing dick so hard that you're able to use it as a commodity?
Well,
like fuck a Visa card, you just throw your dick on the table.
Are you really that surprised, Slayton?
yeah, man.
I've
No,
never-
we know
I've
we're
never-
comics. We know handfuls of people that had to fuck for places to stay.
I've never fucked my. I mean,
Well,
look,
you and I are shitty looking fucking
that's-
chubby bad DNA dudes.
We're both pretty decent looking fellows.
Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. We're
pretty
good. We're good marriage material. We're
We
husky
are-
lovers.
we
We'll
are-
take care of you. But
If you ever say that you're husky again, I will stab you in the tiny belly that you have.
I'm skinny fat. Come on,
That
don't
is
try to
true.
kick me
That
out
is
of this
true.
thing. Look at these love handles.
But Ron Taylor got the Visa Black card over here.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, you know what? Now that I do think of it, most of my friends that have had to fuck, like male friends that have had to fuck for places to live, have been black dudes. I don't know. You guys might have a thing.
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
we do that a lot, especially from the Midwest. That's how most people move out here. Is fucking some fat or white lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just how you don't even have
Is
a
it like a
gas card.
website? Is it
You
like
just
a
pull up
website?
to an Exxon and you just throw it on the counter and go like, I think we know what's happening here.
Is there is there a website where like powdered sugar mamas or something like that? I
I'll
don't
fill
know.
you up and then you fill her up. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Does that work?
You
can
just invite them out to a show. You call them pretty. You fuck them, and then you stay with them and never leave.
That's great.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Fuck
Life
it.
advice from Ron Taylor.
Yeah.
I took the wrong route, huh?
Yeah, wow.
Do you think I could still do that?
I mean, I'll let you stay, and you don't have to, you just go chaw for chaw, and you can stay at my house.
I'll let you watch me jack off, old lady, if you buy me a new mountain bike.
Anne and John married on December 22nd, 1973 at St. Joseph's. John wanted to see the world. He tried to convince Anne to apply for an exchange program in Australia. But again, her parents were having none of it.
Even though they were married?
They didn't want her daughter to move away to a country full of criminals.
So they're controlling.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
They're
1970s parents
1970s
controlling.
Catholic parents in a small mining town in the coast of England.
But I bet they cook.
Shocking.
I bet they cook a mean dinner though.
Oh yeah, some whatever the dick thing is that they call it, spotted dick. I don't know what it is.
I've never actually seen spotted dick in person.
So they moved into a bungalow in the rocks, and now that they were allowed to bone, popped out a couple of kids. John and Anne settled into a life that he described as Mr. and Mrs. Average. She continued as a receptionist while he made the 45-minute commute each day to teach at the trade school. He stayed at that job for 18 years until he was denied a promotion.
That's when he said, "Fuck it."
I'm done teaching. Now I'm teaching a real lesson.
All right.
Looking to move up in life, he took a job at Barclays Bank, but quickly quit because he disapproved of their heavy-handed sales tactics.
Oh, they make you say their names a bunch of times.
I don't even know what that means.
I used to work at a bank, and like one of the things they'd be like, when a customer comes in, you need to say their name 4 times. It's psychologically proven to make them like trust you more and whatever. All these weird fucking shady things.
You know, John, I have never heard that before.
It's such a trip.
But John, I really think that
I refused to do it, and they didn't fire me. That's how good I was.
I think that's I understand why, John, they do that. But I also understand your position, John, and I just want to tell you I support you.
I really, whatever you say, I'm into. I support you too. Oh, you just did it to me, you fucking dick. I knew you were doing that.
But John Darwin never abandoned his dream of strike. Oh, no. So after the Barclays thing, he left and took a job as a prison officer.
Is this the thing that people have in the back of their cars, the little fish? Is this the guy that they're a big fan of?
Yes.
Okay.
But John never abandoned his dream of striking it rich.
Yeah, who does? Any guy named John wants to strike it rich. Am I right? High five to myself.
He tried his hand at the stock market, but that was a failure, especially after he got taken in a pyramid scheme.
Oh, he's conned. He was a conned moron.
He got conned.
Yeah.
Some of his endeavors were less conventional, like writing computer games, making garden gnomes to sell at market, and raising African snails to sell as escargot.
I can't see myself ever doing those things except for the garden gnome thing. I could paint those things.
I don't know why that's funny.
It's one of those things where you're like, that's your big business plan. Guys, I know how we're going to make it rich. And he just opens it up and look at all this slime.
What the fact that I don't know why African snails is funny to me. He raised African snails.
If they're Africanized, how they say that about the bees? Africanized snails.
Yeah, those killer bees.
Is that a Wu-Tang reference again? Are we back to Wu-Tang?
Everything's about Wu-Tang.
Every
man.
episode's going to be Wu-Tang with this guy now.
Shockingly, none of these businesses helped him strike it rich.
Even the snail one.
The snail thing failed. I mean, I am personally surprised because I, for one, have never tried snails, but I know that most people, like probably both of you, eat them regularly.
I've just had them like at a restaurant, escargot.
Oh, you really have?
Yeah, escargot.
You ever had that?
No, fuck no.
You just get it at a restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, but you're an adventurous eater. We went and got bulgogi.
I am, yeah. It was great, but I've never had fucking escargot.
What's bulgogi? Isn't that just Korean like beef and
Well,
like.
we went to one of those Korean places where like you pay $25 or whatever, and they just throw meat at you for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's
Korean-
not that adventurous.
Korean barbecue.
Yeah, I love.
I mean, if
Korean
you'd been to
barbecue.
this place, you would realize that it was pretty adventurous.
Oh,
this place was no joke.
Yeah.
You can't read the language on the menu. That's an adventure.
That's adventure. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're just pointing and going, I hope this isn't dog.
Yeah.
And then there you go.
I don't think you're gonna get dog in L.A.
I hope this isn't cat.
you could probably get cat.
Dude, that's mostly what I mean, every taco stand, mostly cat in
Little
this town.
Tijuana sushi.
Unknown story.
They're rodents. I have 2 cats, which I love, but I could see that people just eat them. You know.
So John turned to a new venture, real estate.
Really?
They bought a house, fixed it up, and sold it. Over the next few years, John used that cash to buy a dozen small houses, mostly bank repossessions.
And now John is on HGTV. You can see him every Thursday.
He's gonna tell you how to do it. Yeah. This guy does have a great plan, and his name's John. I'm like, man, I should get a house and start selling these puppies.
They fixed them up, filling them with tenants. Soon, John and Ann were living the high life. He drove around in a $70,000 blue Range Rover.
$70,000 in those times?
Well, the equivalent of it.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
also,
either way, it's
by now, this is no longer the 70s. This is now like the late 90s.
Okay.
Because it's 18 years.
That's
so
still a
in
lot to spend on a
they were-
car.
Yeah, so this...
You know what's crazy? This story started in 1950.
Well, that's when he was born.
England. I know, but for some reason, it's like, Jesus Christ, how old is this guy? 200? He went from the sewage.
He's in his 50s now.
Sewage in England to fucking driving a blue Range Rover?
I love how nonchalantly Slaton goes, he's not that much older than several people we know that we've talked
He's
to
about
today.
50 now. This is probably about 98, 99.
Yeah, he's not,
England just sounds like
It sounds old.
1830 something to me. But anyway.
Everything in England stopped. When 1899 hit, they're like, well, this is the last year. And it's been fun, everybody. And then after that, it's just been Britain since then.
it's
there was
all
no
just
more England.
castles. It's just castles, and even their laptops are made out of stone, and they have dank little moss growing on them. It's amazing in England.
So he's driving around this big Range Rover. In 2000, the Darwins found their dream home. Numbers 3 and 4, the cliff in the seaside resort town of Seton Carew, are a pair of plush Victorian guest houses connected by a series of interior corridors, perched on an actual cliff with gorgeous panoramic views of Hartlepool Bay.
Are you selling us this property, Slaton? That was a really nice read.
Yeah, well, to finance crime, I've turned to real estate, and I only sell seaside property in England.
Dude, what if we started our own
Which
real estate
shockingly
company?
is still here. I don't know how. I thought it was over,
there
but
you go.
Crime Realtors? How great would our logo look on those signs when you drive through neighborhoods with our faces on it?
and everyone's like, "Yeah, I'm not buying from them."
We probably would sell houses. We would just have to go together and do our shtick.
They're like, "Well, the fact that they try to market themselves with the thing I'm trying to avoid was off-putting." But then they made cum jokes, and I was like, "This house has to be mine."
Right? Like we go in and show like a nice square family. Like, look at this. Look at all the places you guys can orgasm together.
Luckily for the Darwins, they have there's granite countertops, easily cleanable.
We shake our hands. Sold! That'd be fucking great.
Luckily for the Darwins, they were fixer-uppers with an asking price of just over $200,000 for both homes.
Wow.
They made number 3 their house with its 7 bedrooms, gourmet kitchen, and manicured garden overlooking the water.
Dear Lord.
They converted number 4 into a bedsit, kind of like Airbnb. It had like 7 or 8 different rooms they would rent out individually.
Oh, yeah. Make that extra cost.
John Darwin finally had the life he always wanted. On the surface. The reality was much more grim.
He wanted to be an ice skater and wear dresses.
While the sale of their first house provided some capital, it was not enough to cover the cost of 12 properties at around $35,000 each. He'd raised the money using advice from a book educating readers in methods of creative banking to raise capital.
I like the way you did the quote marks because you're letting us know, like, it was bullshit. It was a way to show you how to scam the system.
But the methods amounted to little more than using personal loans to make the down payments, usually in the form of cash advances on your credit card. Add in another $150,000 for the houses on the cliff, and the total climbed to over $500,000.
Which isn't even that much money if you think about it, with how much a little shanty in L.A. costs.
Sure, yeah, right?
Right? This guy had 50 properties. Whoa, you're 500,000 in the hole. Jeez, man, you must be stressed. Like, who fucking cares? Shut up, right? Buy some more shit and then call me. Call me when it's $10 million, right? Call us. We'll do the story on crime.
As you might imagine, funding the down payments for 14 properties on your credit card is not feasible,
So he opened a Chatterbait account.
which is why John had 13 of them. Collectively, they carried around $90,000 in debt. With another $340,000 on mortgages, the Darwins owed the bank nearly $10,000 a month.
Yeah, because the interest on credit cards is insane. So if you have hundreds of thousands of
So
dollars
he
on
had
it.
13 credit cards?
He had 13 credit cards with $90,000 in debt spread across all of them, and then a $340,000 mortgage. And so their monthly nut to the bank alone for all these different debts was $10,000.
Yeah, how do you come up with $10,000 per month? I hate to sound like a commoner, but serious.
Together, John and Annie earned maybe $3,000 a month from their jobs. At first, everything seemed fine. They filled the homes with tenants, and the rental income covered their monthly payments to the bank.
Oh, cool.
But John failed to take into account one very important fact. Renting properties is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Even with excellent tenants, money gets chewed up by repairs and vacancies.
So, yeah, I don't even know how people make profit on it. It's crazy.
And the Darwins did not have excellent tenants.
So
The Rocks is a poor little mining town, so most of their renters received government housing benefits.
Oi, mind if I piss on over here in the corner?
Well, please, I'm trying
I'm
to...
already pissing.
I've built a bathroom for you, sir.
All right. You got a place for me to take a shit now?
You
You're
know
not
what?
going to shit on me piss.
You know, at this point, just use the other corner.
All right. Sorry, I tracked in a bunch of soot from the coal mine.
The Rocks is a poor mining town, so most of the tenants received government housing benefits, which were often late because of bureaucracy, which in turn made the Darwins late paying their mortgages. Sometimes the rent didn't come at all. And then, of course, there was the cost of vandalism by angry occupants when they were told to pay or leave. The Darwins were...
leave, right? I've got half a shit hanging out of me bum.
Please, sir, just take it with you.
Wait, what are y'all doing?
What do you mean? Sometimes we do characters on this show.
No, I thought they were in fucking America now.
No, this has been in England the entire time.
Oh, fuck.
See, you're still thinking about that van.
Wait a minute. Go to the third page again. Go back. Like, I thought these people were...
Slayton, give us a full recap. I mean, yeah.
He's born in England.
No,
he
I
lives in
got
a
that.
shitty town.
Didn't they move?
Well, they moved from the shitty town to another town.
They moved from shitty town of Blackhall Rocks, where they owned 12 properties.
One of y'all said California, and I thought they was in California at this point.
Oh, I was riffing about how expensive property is in California because he was saying it was
fuck.
that they were $500,000 in debt. And I was
You
like,
threw
wow.
me off, man. I'm like, why are you guys making these California people talk like that?
No worries. No, they're still in. They're still in.
They're still in
Okay.
England.
They're still in England.
They are in Seaton Carew, a kind of like posh little vacation town on the cliffs overlooking the ocean.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
They own 12 houses in the shitty mining town, but they live in these two split up houses. One side is their 7-bedroom home. The other side is their big super Airbnb on this cliffside resort town. That's where we're at now.
Somebody's about to fucking die. I don't know who.
The Darwins were short over $2,000 a month and sinking fast. Desperate, John considered his options. He decided against declaring bankruptcy. With his job at the prison, serious financial trouble could jeopardize his employment over worries that he might become more susceptible to bribery by the criminals.
Yeah, of course.
He ruled out crimes like mugging or robbing a gas station.
He had a list. He had a crime list that he could do. Like, and he's checking them off. Mm-hmm. He's like, no, that doesn't look right.
Oh, no, that one might, I have a back problem, so trying to rob a bank does seem a little too much for me.
I've had that exact same thought. Funny you should say it like that, too. Inner voice. Spoken out loud by Richard Slaton.
He could crash his car for the insurance payout, but there was a risk the adjuster would find him at fault. That's when John realized that he was worth much more money dead
than alive?
than he was alive.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
So late on March 21st, 2002, John Darwin went to his storage shed, grabbed his red kayak, and carried it down to the beach. No one noticed he was gone until 11:30 that night when he failed to show up for work at the prison. The next day, after neighbors reported seeing him in his kayak, authorities launched a massive search and rescue operation with 5 Royal Navy lifeboats, 2 Coast Guard teams, a police aircraft with heat-seeking equipment, and multiple teams of police officers. A search of 62 square miles, including 10 miles out to sea, eventually turned up nothing but a double-ended kayaking paddle.
Sir, we found something.
Well, what you got?
It looks like a paddle.
Well, just come in here. Let's bring it to the evidence room.
You want me to hit you on your bum with it? Make the red stripes?
Shh, don't tell people until we get inside.
Was this guy that important that they had heat-seeking what now?
Meat-seeking missiles? I like where you're going with that.
Meat-seeking missiles, is that a nickname that you use for the women that let you stay with them after?
There you go. You want this meat-seeking missile?
Meat-seeking missile?
No, they had
Too late, already engaged. And then you...
They had all this shit just to find somebody that works at a fucking prison?
Well, he's a human being. I'm sorry to tell you, Rod. I mean, they're just looking for a human being that's lost.
Damn, I guess. Whatever.
Thank God you're not a babysitter or the police chief. Can you imagine trying to negotiate things with this guy if he was in politics? You're like, sir, we got to get the hostages. He's like, well, what do they do for work?
Yeah, I mean, they just work at McDonald's. I mean, make a call. If they don't release them, you know.
We can do without.
Fuck them.
I want a helicopter fueled, ready to go to the airport. Also, I want the cops all backed up 6 blocks away, and I want 15 pizzas delivered here right now.
Sir, we have to. This terrorist is going to kill the hostages. What should we do, Mr. Mayor?
You know what? Give him 2 pizzas, hot and ready's, and if he doesn't take that, fuck him.
But sir, those are human beings that he's got holding hostage. We got to save them.
Fuck him. Fuck him. No.
Hey, where's my chopper? I swear to God, I'm going to kill one of these people.
Sir, make a decision. We don't want these people to die. They're good human beings.
Excuse me. Let me talk to the hostage guy. Hey, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, do what you got to do, brother. You know, sometimes people got to go, and it might just be their time. I support you in all your endeavors, but you're not getting shit, brother.
Hold on, wait. You heard I'm going to kill them, right?
Hey, man. You know, live out your life, man. Live your truth.
Oh my God. You know what? I'm just gonna give myself up because nothing even matters anymore. If the is human life that unprecious to our leaders?
I'm one of the hostages. They're gonna kill us. Will you please get us out of here?
No, I'm not gonna kill anybody at this point. You know what? Just take me in. Just take me in.
And that, my friend, is reverse psychology.
I just want to point out there are actual tears in my eyes right now.
Yeah, you're a psychopath improver. Get back to your fucking story, freak.
Bookable is what I call myself.
You're terrifying.
After 4 days, they called off the search.
Anyone that could cry on cue is a psychopath, and that's why any actor is a psychopath, because most of them can cry on cue. Go on with the story.
On May 7th, the broken pieces of a red kayak washed ashore. The Coast Guard expressed surprise at the discovery.
Sir, we found a kayak! Ah, bloody hate Jews! No, the boat! Oh, I thought you said, never mind. Let me see the boat.
The Coast Guard was surprised at the discovery as the North Sea had been unusually calm that March, certainly not rough enough to give John trouble in a kayak. 6 months after he disappeared.
This kayak is giving me trouble, sir! Smack him across his big nose.
6 months after he disappeared, a police press officer joined Anne at her home to interview her for the department's press release on the case. But something seemed off. Eventually, he realized there were no photos of John anywhere in the home.
She's like giggling, and you see feet hanging out from underneath like the couch or underneath the bed. You're like, ma'am, have you seen your husband? He's missing. We're afraid he's doomed.
No, not at all. He's gone. He's dead. And how dare you even bring that up?
That's the fart from underneath the bed, because John's under there like, oh, bloody hell.
What's that ball of clothes in the corner with the feet hanging out?
Oh, it's like E.T., but it's an English guy just hiding in the closet.
You don't store your shoes at the bottom of your curtains.
Nothing to see here.
When he asked about it, she replied, "We are not ones for photographs." The press told the story of a woman whose life was in limbo as she waited to see if her husband was dead or alive. As it turns out, and you may have guessed, the police reporter had very good instincts. On March 21st, John had paddled out to sea, just long enough to make his way to a part of the coast away from watchful eyes. Then he crashed his kayak, unloaded a plastic bag with changes of clothes, 150 pounds in cash, a flashlight, matches, and a pair of sunglasses. He made his way to the road, where Anne picked him up. As they drove 20 miles to a train station, the prison called her phone to say her husband hadn't turned up for his shift. Already freaked out from their ruse, it was easy for Anne to sound panicked as she told the caller that she hadn't seen him all day.
Babe, you're going to give it away. Play it harder.
But his car, phone, and wallet were all still at the house.
Oh, fear.
As investigators spent piles of money and hours searching.
Wait, so they knew that it's fishy. So so John and his wife aren't getting anywhere. They don't have a leg up on them, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, so we were 6 months ahead. with that interview where they were like, "Hey, there's no pictures in the house."
Yeah.
Now we're back to the day of his disappearance.
Okay.
We flashed forward.
Okay.
And now we're back with the storyline.
Okay. That was for the guest. I knew exactly what was going on.
Of course you did.
I paid total attention.
As investigators spent piles of money and hours searching, John camped out 120 miles away on the rocky coast of Siloth. I should look up these
Have
pronunciations.
some fucking respect. We've got English listeners, Slaton.
We do.
Sorry, Ben.
Shout out, Ben.
And everybody in Sheffield.
And you know what? As I'm talking about the British Isles, Gary in Glasgow, Gary Folds. I think I'm pronouncing your last name right because I've only seen it. I've never heard it spoken out loud. But Gary just sold out the comedy club in Glasgow, the Stand. So congrats, Gary.
Congrats.
Where was John? Camping on the rocky coast of this beach. He slept on a cheap air mattress in a tent on the beach, eating canned beans and candy bars.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Passing the time reading cheap paperbacks.
Right? Get all your use out of your REI goods, right? Get out there on the beach, camp a little, huh? Live with nature.
He told passersby he was an ornithologist working his way up the coast on a bird-watching expedition.
Don't mind me, just an ornithologist looking at birds. And then the skinheads were like, well, I don't see no ladies on the beach at all.
Ooh, I see what you said there.
Right? Birds? Bird watching?
He called home every day from a payphone, disguising
Damn.
his voice as a prospective renter in case someone else picked up. John spent 2 months on the beach, lying low and working on Phase 2.
Just gonna lie low and work on phase 2.
What's this guy making Marvel movies?
Phase 2 is also what I happen to call my cock.
Phase 2?
I'm working on
Don't
it
ask
all
about
day.
phase 3. Only if I like her a lot. She can peg me.
He grew a long white beard and lost a ton of weight.
And then filmed Lord of the Rings in New Zealand.
His skin became rough from exposure. He practiced walking with a limp, aided by a walking stick.
He's totally going to change. He's going to go into full, I work at the Renaissance Fair, but for his full life now.
When Anne finally came back to pick him up, she drove right past her nearly unrecognizable husband.
Did she really, or did she just do it to make him feel good? I hardly recognized you, did you? It's like, oh, fuck, I did a great job, didn't I?
No, I couldn't tell it was you at all. That's so good.
But she's lying. You're being sarcastic, right? She's like, yeah.
No, I couldn't tell it was you at all.
He's got one of those old school, like Groucho Marx sunglasses and nose things.
Oh, yes, the nose totally threw me off. Wow.
It's epoxied to his flesh. He's like, okay, it never comes off, really. Stay in character.
They drove back to the cliffs, stopping a mile away so she could let him out. Then he fake limped all the way to the rental property next to his home,
Did they fuck like while he was in character?
where he took up residence.
Now's your chance to play the game, baby. She's like, oh, role playing. You're Gandalf, and I'm the same woman that, you've already banged. I didn't bring a costume for myself.
He took up residence in a room rented to an alias, Carl Fenwick. None of the other tenants recognized their
not a
former
very-
landlord.
Wizardly name. I thought he'd have like an old guy name.
Fenwick is kind of wizardish.
As the first name, and what's the last name? Frederick of Wisdorfia.
That's more wizardy.
How did this guy think this was going to work? Like, you fake your death and then come back and then enjoy no debt?
A lot
You're
of
dead.
A lot of the most interesting criminals are like idiot savants. Like they're genius with like certain things, but then they're also completely oblivious.
This
Also,
guy wasn't a genius with anything.
Well, just so
he
you know,
had a Land Rover, for God's sake, Ron.
I mean, that's what everyone with a Land Rover is a genius, as
Right?
we've learned here in Los Angeles.
I guess.
All Land Rover drivers are geniuses and good people, and I'm going to stand by that.
He got fucked up in a Ponzi scheme. I remember that.
He tried to sell snails,
Yeah.
like
fucking-
my get rich snail scheme.
Oh, that's
all the
cute. That's
things to
endearing.
sell.
Your get rich quick scheme is off the slowest animal on the planet.
Yeah.
Well,
This
the
guy's
juxtaposition was what's going to make it work. Obviously, it didn't work for John or I. We both tried the snail one. I'm offended.
The police interviewer had been more than right, because throughout the interview at number 3, the Cliffs, John Darwin was hiding out at number 4. For months, John, as Carl, hid in plain sight. He spent his days surfing the internet, checking up on his own story, using software to make his IP address appear in several different countries to cover his tracks. Because apparently some people who fake their death, they get caught by repeatedly searching their own name, like their own information, to keep an eye on the story.
Are there that many people that fake their own death? There's a statistic for it?
This will not by any means be the last fake your own death story we do on this show.
Should we fake our own deaths? I mean, is this the thing to do? Is this like that new thing that people go on instead of
dude,
Instagram?
What's
Fake
the
your own
benefit?
death.
It's the new Yeezys. Faking your own death is like Yeezys for crime.
But what's the benefit? How does it work for you?
Well,
We got to get to that part of the story. The
we've
checks
got
haven't
some-
been cashed
We've got
yet.
some more pages, bro.
Oh, okay. All right.
When he wasn't ego searching his name, Carl worked as a handyman for Mrs. Darwin, doing repairs, gardening, and painting. Anne regularly made a big show of asking him to do jobs in front of the other tenants.
Wait, so he's still around his wife that much?
She lives in their house number 3, and he lives in one of the like Airbnbs at number 4. He quite literally lives right next door.
I'm trying to think. That could be genius. It also seems a little too close to all the action.
He went on daily constitutionals.
Wouldn't you go to Amsterdam or something like that? If you like tell your wife, like, finally, I got an excuse, baby. I got to. It's for the whole thing that we're doing here. I got to go to Amsterdam for like 6 months and have a couple girlfriends, and then I'll come back and the cops won't suspect us. But I got to go to Amsterdam for this to work.
For the moment, oh yeah, he went on daily constitutionals.
What does that mean?
Like a that's what the English people call a walk for your health or whatever.
Fucking English.
Right. Once walking right past his father and brother, who had no idea it was him.
I tell you, those pheromones, they don't actually work the way they said they're supposed to.
For the moment, detectives were still occasionally coming by as part of the investigation. So they developed a system where Anne would draw the curtains for the parlor as a signal for John to stay away. At night, he snuck back home from number 4 to number 3, joining his wife in their king-sized bed.
House number 4 to house number 3. Okay.
As mentioned earlier, there were a number of corridors connecting the homes, but this one was secret. They kept it hidden behind a wardrobe, and John poured concrete over the floorboards to stop them from creaking. So he stayed in like the attic apartment of number 4.
This guy poured concrete upstairs in an old wooden house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, but how did they not hear that? The
he did it
pouring of the concrete.
He mixed it in a bowl and just poured it over, nice
Wouldn't
and
you
quiet.
wonder, like, man, this is weird. Somebody's working upstairs.
Well, if you're just in that...
Well, he was also the handyman doing a bunch of jobs everywhere.
Yeah, you wouldn't notice that. You'd be busy at your job, and then you come home and not notice it. And
What
then
type of motherfucker like kills their old self, creates a new person, and then gets a job?
and then does the same life but worse.
Yeah,
right.
He missed out. We're not done, but it sounds like he's missing out on a whole opportunity to do a bunch of crime as this new person.
Oh, don't you worry, bro.
And then come back from the dead.
And he's like, "I'll just work at McDonald's to stay undercover."
Hey, you know
Like,
what, Ron? Here's my suggestion: is why don't you put a little posting in the misconnection section?
Yeah.
For this story.
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, misconnection, you could have fucked some shit up, but you didn't.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if someone answers that ad.
As Carl, I would have robbed a bank.
Yeah.
Great call.
And then turned back to John.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And now the person of Carl
Now it's
really
difficult.
did die because
Yeah.
no one's going to find him because he didn't ever really exist. You cut your fucking hair, stop limping, bam.
It's like if Jim Carrey stayed Andy Kaufman.
Right.
Dun 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 dun.
Still, there were close calls. In 2003, a former prison colleague told police he saw John Darwin in town.
Oh my God, Jim Carrey's a character then. Oh my God.
But Anne told officers it was a mistake, and the colleague must have seen a cousin who looked just like him.
Must have seen a cousin. He looks just like him. He's
Eventually,
dead, remember?
one
I'm
of
really
their-
bummed about it. It's horrible.
Eventually, one of their renters got a good look at Carl and realized it was his former landlord. He asked, "Aren't you supposed to be dead?"
Just like
Somehow-
that, like a gentleman. But pardon me. Aren't you not supposed to be alive right now?
Yeah, he might have said like, "Aren't you supposed to be dead?"
Shouldn't your cock be shriveled, or so we say in England?
Aren't
Somehow-
you supposed to be minding your fucking business right now? I'm trying to run a scheme, asshole. I'm going to fucking kill you if you say that out loud again.
Yeah, somehow John did convince him to be quiet. So I don't know what he said.
There we go.
With all the neighbors, relatives, and cops stopping by, John decided it would be smart to take an extended vacation abroad.
Dude, this guy and me, we got a lot in common. I love taking vacations.
But he needed a passport. So he pulled a classic false identity scam. John scoured local records until he found what he needed.
Someone else that was dead?
John Jones was born in March of 1950, 5 months before John Darwin. But Jones died just a month later. Since 50-year-old records aren't typically updated in the computer system, it was easy for John Darwin to write up a rental agreement for John Jones and use that paperwork to file for a copy of the birth certificate.
So now he's going as a different name and getting a third name for his birth certificate to fake his another identity.
So now he's doing, we did an episode about that guy who was the escaped murderer.
Yeah.
Who then faked. So he's doing the same game plan. Find someone who was your
died.
same age who died when they were a baby, and then get a copy of their documentation because it's probably so old it's not in the computer system, and then use that to build a fake identity.
What do? You just go ask like a government office, like, can I get my birth certificate? That's
And then
me.
you go like, hey, here's a piece of mail that shows I am who I am or whatever. Yeah,
And then you just build it from there, huh?
there you go. He also, to get that passport, he also needed an official person, that's the terminology, to sign off on his identity. So he used that birth certificate to get a library card.
Oh, what a boring motherfucker.
Jesus Christ.
He's going to go get some books now? Huh? Wow. What a way to crime, huh?
He made a point of stopping by every day to chat with a librarian, eventually getting her to sign a document verifying that he was John Jones.
Oh,
Little
he put
do
his
people-
fucking time in.
Little do people know, John Jones actually was not dead, moved to America, and became a UFC fighter.
That's correct. And then he did cocaine and hit a pregnant woman with his car and got busted for various different performance-enhancing supplements and got stripped of the UFC light heavyweight title, even though he is probably the undisputed best 205er in the sport's history.
Fucking John Jones, man.
Little do people know.
Within 6 months of faking his death, John Darwin had an official UK passport as John Jones and a solid, ironclad fake identity.
Look at him, huh? Tony Robbins over here. Huh? You can do it. I looking in the mirror. I am whoever I want to be. I am a criminal that's successful.
All he needed to get out was some money. On April 10th, 2003, the local coroner, based on the evidence of the smashed canoe, declared John Darwin to be legally dead.
Whoa.
The Register of General Shipping and Seamen then issued a death certificate.
General shipping of semen, huh? Just
Yeah.
a regular old package of semen. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see. Lots of ice. That's our main budget to keep it cold.
You want to keep it cold. You don't want those little tadpoles to get too hot.
The General Shipping and Seamen Department
It's funny even the
declared he issued a death certificate stating he had probably died at sea. That was enough for the Association of British Insurers. Anne was allowed to claim her husband's life insurance policy,
How much was
teacher's
that?
pension, prison service pension, and mortgage insurance, all totaling around $350,000.
All right.
So that's not even enough to pay off all their crazy shit, though.
At this point, it's a bet. They're right about enough to wipe out the debts that they have.
Oh, okay. And then he can come back and be like, the debts are paid off? Cool. I can take this mask off? All right, cool. Ta-da! Thanks, guys. Everything's been good. Our debts are paid.
While John waited for the checks to clear, he passed the time playing the MMORPG, or massive multiplayer online role-playing game, EverQuest.
That's for dorky, weird people, isn't it?
Shit.
Nicknamed Evercrack by its players for its highly addictive qualities.
Yeah, people spent cash on stuff for that game.
It's like World of Warcraft, but earlier and dorkier.
Yeah, and I read an article in Wired once. They actually, people would buy stuff. Like, have you ever heard about this? People would be like, I want a house in EverQuest, and someone would be like, I built the house, so give me $8,000, and they would like sell it on eBay, like a non-tangible.
$8,000?
Oh, I just made up a number, but like they were numbers that were impressive. Like people, there was like a couple that made a living like selling things for EverQuest. Like they made stuff in the game and then sold it for real money in the real world. Isn't that fucking nuts?
EverQuest allows players to interact with the community, buy and sell goods,
Yep.
fight monsters, and cast spells.
I mean, it sounds great, right?
Sounds
And
like the first Bitcoin.
there you go.
This is where John, playing as a druid, began meeting women.
A Druish woman.
Under the guise of avoiding detection, John began taking month-long trips to the United States of America. Oh, man. First, he visited Maria, a buxom Italian woman from the Bronx.
Oh, I'm liking already. Hey, come on over here. Yeah, I got some pussy. It's good. And then I'll make you some fucking dinner. And, how you doing?
Fucking Stromboli and some pussy.
Yeah, you want to get in my calzone? It's hot.
Wow, these American accents are so sexual.
What a cannoli you got over there. Huh? Look, it's dripping cream.
You know, I have a meat-seeking missile for you.
That sounds delicious. Mind if I have a bite? Is it spicy?
Well, let me ask you one question. Have you ever tried cheese?
Have I ever tried cheese? Does this mean anything to you? Let me just lift up my breast. Here's a mozzarella ball. It's nice room temp.
Oh, the woman I've been waiting for.
Just take a bite. It's delish.
Num, 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 num.
I'm going to go see Sebastian Maniscalco this weekend. Do you want to come with me?
When Anne asked where he was staying, he told her he had met a friendly cabbie who offered him a place to stay.
Oh, so he did do what I was joking about. Where
Yes.
he's like, baby, I got to go on the lam. He's like, got a fucking briefcase full of condoms.
Very
I got to hide from the cops,
specifically,
honey.
that's what he's doing.
This whole scheme was just because he needed some strange, dude. He's an animal. He just needed some strange.
But eventually, Maria caught too many feelings and asked to marry him. So John moved on to more internet women.
He's like, bitch, I'm on the run.
Between 2002 and 2007, he bounced back and forth between the UK and the US,
Leaving only his nut webs behind.
shacking up with various American ladies he met playing EverQuest.
I'd like to do that.
He spent time
Play EverQuest.
He spent time with Kelly Steele, a thrice married woman from Kansas City, but she broke it off after he gave her $40,000 to invest in a farm outside the city.
Wait a minute.
Wait, she stole the $40,000 from him?
Well, he thought that they were doing like an investment together, and then she got it. She was like, you know what? I don't actually want to see you anymore, so bye.
This fucking dead guy had $40,000.
They just got a big payout from all this insurance and pension and stuff.
Okay.
Ron, he's trying to make it in America like that TV show. And then he's going to fly his wife over here and they're going to be successful together? Is that the plan?
When he wasn't at home killing internet dragons or in the U.S. banging nerd chicks, John took his wife for trips around the world, researching the final step of their plan, escaping the country.
I bet this is a kind of turning into an arousing story now. He's playing video games, getting nerd chicks. I mean, this guy's having and just has $40,000 to lose on a farm. I mean, this guy's got a fun life right now.
I'm going to predict the wrap up of this story. They escape to Africa, where they actually raise snails.
Ooh.
Call back. Where he finally gets to do
I've gone to the source.
his lifelong dream.
Where's the arc though? Does he grow as a person? Is his wife? Is it him, his new lover, and his wife together? They have an odd family, but it's all happy. Like what's the where's the growth?
There's no twist. This is going to have a happy ending.
You know what? I'm with Ron Taylor. I think this is going to have a very happy ending.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm feeling.
That's great. I'm feeling it too now, guys. I love happy endings. Thanks for bringing us a fucking happy
First,
story.
they visited Cyprus in 2004 and tried to buy property, but the local bureaucracy moved too slow for their tastes. In 2005, they traveled to Spain, where they made an offer to buy a 60-foot boat for $70,000.
That sounds like a cool line.
But they eventually decided they'd rather be on dry land.
I'd like to purchase a 60-foot boat for $70,000. No, but I have a 50-foot boat for $60,000. I don't think you heard me clearly.
Finally, they settled on a country far away and relatively inexpensive. Panama.
Oh, like the Van Halen song. Yeah.
Now, I've been to Panama.
You've been to Panama.
That's a place you want to be, brother.
Yeah.
I know that they had to stay there. I changed it. I'm going to predict it now.
Okay.
They stayed in Panama.
They stay in Panama?
And went to the seafood market and ate stuff every day and fucked hookers legally, which you can do in Panama.
None of which Ron Taylor did, obviously.
No. Me and Stephen Fury did not go to Panama and fuck hookers together.
Did you listen to the song Panama when you were there?
Panama.
As soon as we got off to like the plane or the boat or whatever, I'd be like, Panama, Panama.
In July 2006, they flew to Central America to check out some properties, and in just 2 weeks, they fell in love with the country.
For just $7, they owned 7 apartment buildings at $7 each.
They began looking at houses with Move to Panama, a relocation company that specializes in helping foreigners find a home and establish residency. In March of 2007, they bought their first property, a penthouse in Panama City worth $90,000.
Nice.
Then they spent $390,000 on a 500-acre plot of untouched jungle where they planned to build a
Save the
tropical
rainforest.
ranch.
Woo! I like this guy already, dude. It's our fucking country. It's our world's lungs.
They're going to save it by building a ranch and raising cattle. That's how they're going to save
Are
the
you serious?
rainforest.
That's the opposite of what you want to do with precious rainforest
What do you
land.
mean? No. The
Man,
best thing.
fuck this guy.
No. You cut down the trees and then you put a cool house there, and then you have then you bring in an animal that's not native to the land. That's how you save the rainforest.
Slaton, you fucking sadistic prick. You're hurting my feelings right now. It's the number one thing you don't want to do to the rainforest is chop it down to raise cattle on it. Ugh.
God, I have been doing this wrong the entire time. Hey, Brazil, super sorry about all my cows, bro.
Yeah, you can't go back. The trees are like 150,000 years old.
My
You
bad,
can't-
dude.
Too late for that global warming inducer.
Whoops. Sorry.
You fucking dick.
Probably shouldn't have burned most of that either, man.
Yeah.
That's
Not to mention
the Amazon's one of the
animals,
ones that you don't want to burn, right?
and then the people that live
Yeah,
there.
don't do that. The Amazons.
Fuck.
God, what is your name? Corporate Slaton?
I need to call somebody and maybe write like a sorry note or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, Amazon.
Yeah.
Sorry, Globe. You fucking
Sorry,
dick.
Mother Earth. Sorry, Mom Earth.
So this guy and his wife are fucking gonna chop down the fucking rainforest?
At least 500 acres of it.
Oh my god.
Not that much. I
I'm
mean,
fucking disgusted by these people now. I was like already just like, he's kind of cool, but now I just fucking.
they're not going to chop down a whole 500-acre plot of land. They're going to chop down like an acre and put a house on it or whatever.
Okay, an acre. Okay, that's cool. And then enjoy the forest around you.
Yeah, but then they're going to put cows in there and really
See,
make it dope.
that's where
Make
you
it
lose
dope,
me,
bro.
Why'd you bring it back to that? I was doing well. I was calm.
If you can't have home butchered steak, what's the point of being in Panama? I mean,
That's a really interesting line. I've never thought about Panama that way. What a great perspective you have. Go on with your fucking story.
John stayed in Panama while Anne traveled back and forth to the UK to settle their remaining business ventures. She sold the first Cliff House in April and the second in October, bringing in another $640,000.
Oh,
Damn.
wonderful. Honey, we can finally buy our house in Panama with the cash.
In November 2007, they were finally set. They had their penthouse, their future ranch site, and nearly $1 million in the bank.
Fuck, dude.
But 1 month later, while crossing back into the country from Costa Rica after renewing their visas, they learned that the laws had changed. Panama's new visa laws made it so he could no longer stay in the country simply as a tourist. John needed an investor's visa verified by British police.
Damn.
Oh, so it's like I got to go back to the fucking company that I just kind of, I scammed them. I'm done. I don't want to have to even fucking show face there anymore. And now he's got to go back to him, basically, right? So it just brings him closer to the heat, if that's
And here's
the
a
right
big
term.
problem, is that John knew that if he went back with his John, whatever his fake John Jones
His fake one
passport,
that he found out.
it wouldn't hold up. So in December 2007, Anne stayed in Panama while John flew back to England. After passing customs, he tore up the John Jones passport, throwing the evidence into different trash cans. Then he wandered into a police station with no ID, told them he'd been separated from his wife on a shopping trip, and couldn't remember anything from the last 7 years.
Oh,
That
damn.
never works. You can never claim that. I don't remember anything for the last 7 years. They're like, well, how about I said I don't remember anything for the last 7 years.
The police called his sons, who were delighted to be reunited with their dead dad. For the
What?
next few
Wait
days...
a minute.
Wait.
They had kids this whole time?
Yeah, they had 2 kids. I said that in the beginning of the episode. They had 2.
I forgot about
when
it,
they
too.
started
That's not
doing
your fault. We
when they
both
started
forgot
doing
about
all
their
this
kids.
shit, their kids were in their 20s.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're fucking grown.
Wait,
they don't
but,
matter.
but they didn't know that their dad was alive?
No, none of their family knew that the dad was alive. Anne was the only one.
Okay, these people, all right, the rainforest cutting down thing pissed me off, but being psychopaths that just fucking lie to your fucking kids about your own death, they better buy them something fucking cool. A couple ATVs, you know, maybe a machine gun, a GoPro.
PS4.
Yeah, like
It's not
a
even out
swimming
at this
pool,
time. It's
a
2007, so a
jacuzzi,
PS4 would be a great gift because
A
you're like,
home
wow, this
sauna.
is 2 PlayStations in front.
one of those boats that looks like a dolphin that can go underwater a little bit, you know, a hoverboard, you know, those fucking, those things you get, those water.
A fidget spinner, but one that lights up and says something cool when you spin it around.
Totally. A private sushi chef for a year.
A girl to put the sushi on that
that's-
you eat off of.
That's objectifying women, Slaton.
A guy that you put the sushi on and eat it off of, but he's got smooth skin because he waxes regularly.
Only if it's you and me that they hire to do that.
That's fair.
Right? We lay next to each other naked and just laugh about people eating sushi off of us.
Jesus Christ.
What's this roll called? Well, it's called the cha roll.
I would want I'd want like a salmon nigiri or a yellowtail nigiri just placed perfectly on top of my shaft.
For the next few days, doctors and investigators examined John, trying to determine if his story was true.
Yes, I'm looking at his bowls right now, sir. They're big enough to make these decisions. Put it on the report.
When they asked him the significance of 7/7, which is the day of the 2005 London bus bombings,
Oh, fee.
he replied, 14.
Oh, 7 plus 7.
That's a really Groucho Marx reply there.
They asked him the same question about 9/11, and he said, 20.
They're like, no, sir, what we mean is the significance of, you know, the date. A date? You mean when I went out with my wife, who I can't remember?
Who am I? And no, 20. 20 is my answer, and I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
The reappearance of John Darwin dominated the headlines.
Okay, so they know it's him.
Well, I mean, yeah, because now they've called his kids. They know it's John Darwin.
Okay.
And the canoe man is now like, oh my God, he's back. He has amnesia. He's been gone for 7 years. Because it was a huge story when it disappeared, and now his
so
reappearance.
he's not a criminal right now, or they don't think he's a
Not
criminal.
right now, he's not.
Right now, they're just looking at it like,
Right now,
oh
he's
my
a
God,
missing
what happened to this guy?
Holy shit, we were looking for you, man.
Yeah, wow.
And now you're here?
So you think he was like all relieved, like, oh, yeah, everything's great. Oh, I missed you guys so much. I can't tell you what's happened. So he's playing it off. He's playing into their thing. Okay. Ron, you into it?
Yeah, this sounds like an episode of Lost. I'm sorry I'm not chiming in as much, but I just want to know what happens. How does this guy fucking get over on all these people?
Don't you dare apologize on this show. Whatever you do is all right, good
never,
sir.
You be you, man.
Cool.
We support you.
This is fucking
Be
crazy.
silly, have fun.
A few days later, reporters tracked down Anne in Panama City, where she told reporters she was thrilled to learn he was alive, but feared having to pay back the life insurance money.
You thrilled about my husband, see? Muy bien, es verdad.
What about the disappearance of the first alias, Carl fucking Longbeard?
Carl Longbeard. First of all, if that was his name, that would have been the best name possible.
Carl Longbeard.
Whatever his last name was, Carl Finnegan or Fitzky or Fitzgerald.
Your name is Longbeard?
Yeah.
It's a bit on the nose, sir, but I take it.
She should have been mad and scared because she had an affair with this guy, Carl Longbeard, and threw them off the trail of saying, oh, am I going to have to give this money up? Say, fuck the money. I'm sorry I was fucking Longbeard.
I think you just got to play it off like you're crazy, like what he's doing with the adding up the numbers when the date significance is.
No, I'm talking about the wife.
No, they both should. They should both be like, and then they'll go into like a mercury or a lead poisoning investigation, and you can just chill out.
What have you been doing for the last 7 years, widow?
I don't know. Living for 7 years and not knowing what happened. Is that a good answer?
Passes muster to me, sir.
Johnson, check the house for lead poisoning, gas poisoning, and all kinds of chemicals that make people wacky.
Not everyone was satisfied with John's story. Knowing about Anne's recent trips abroad, a curious neighbor did a simple Google search for 3 words. John, Anne, Panama. Up popped a photo of John, Anne, and a realtor smiling and tanned in a website promo pic on movetopanama.com.
Oh my God! Just from being a simple detective.
Fucking retard.
Well, you can't panic and be like, "Don't put a picture of me up," or the real estate guy might be like, "Why, sir? Are you some sort of criminal trying to hide?"
The woman forwarded the picture to detectives, who merely responded, "You're joking." So she sent it to the Daily Mirror, who did a tiny bit of digging before running the photo the very next day. On December 5th, John Darwin was arrested on suspicion of fraud and charged with obtaining money by deception and using false information to claim a passport. When they questioned him, we were
really happy when we found you, sir. We thought we were lost. We thought you were dead, and then you came in. But now I don't know what to think. And I heard that you were planning on cutting down the rainforest too.
When they questioned him,
it's the lungs of our planet, sir.
He faked being partially deaf to give himself time to think of answers.
Come again?
We were asking where you've been this entire time.
I'm trying to read your lips. I can't hear very well.
Where the fuck have you been?
What? Where the fuck is Ben? I don't know anyone, including this Ben you speak of. 20, 14, 9, 11, 7 and 7, 7 and Seagrams. Drink me, now. I'm crazy.
This guy's a fucking liar.
Yeah, he's a wacky dude.
The Darwin's accounts, still with HSBC, a British bank, were frozen. On December 9th, Anne flew back from Panama and turned herself in. Using the Proceed of Crime Act, a law typically applied only to organized crime and terrorists, the court seized all of their assets.
Damn.
In July 2000...
Get your hand off my wife's asset.
In July 2008, John and Anne Darwin were convicted of fraud. She received 6.5 years in prison.
Oh.
He got 6 years and 3 months. Because he pled guilty and she pled not guilty.
Wait, how long did she get?
She got 3 months longer than he did.
Well, shit. It was not guilty for her. She didn't do shit.
What do you mean?
Well, she was an accomplice, bro.
She hid him in the room next door and took false payments knowing he wasn't...
She didn't,
What do you mean?
fucking fake her death. He did. Fuck him.
Yeah, but she was an accomplice.
So? That's
Okay, let me ask you. So, Rontae, let me ask you a question here. If, let's say that that 2 people go into someone's house, right? And one of them has a gun, the other one doesn't. The one with no gun holds a third person in place while the person with the gun shoots them. What do you do with the person who held the person in place? You're like, cool.
Well, they're not guilty of murder.
I mean,
Well, yes, but so what I'm saying is the reason why she got more time, 3 months longer than he did, is because he made a deal and pled guilty, and her lawyer told her to plead not guilty, and so they gave her. If she'd pled guilty, she probably would have gotten half what he got.
just a side note, Ron. If you hold someone down while someone else kills someone, I think you're both murderers.
Murderer!
So don't tell us anything else you did in Panama, motherfucker.
Hey, man. That was all the story.
Where the fuck was I?
Yeah,
Yes.
you got carried away doing your fucking full-on story.
As a former corrections officer, John got his own cell, which didn't prevent him from taking the occasional beating by inmates who recognized him from his former job.
Oh, I remember you.
I don't think that's possible.
Prepare to have your face punched in. Remember when you made me take a faster shower than I requested? A faster shower? Sorry, bad English accents. My bad. Apologies.
In 2009,
Hashtag Shefsky apologizes.
excerpts from his upcoming memoir were leaked to the press. A fact that shocked jailers because, as he wasn't allowed to profit from his crimes, they'd been checking his outgoing mail for just such a thing. He'd been smuggling the pages out by having a con man pose as his lawyer, then giving him the excerpts under the guise of protected legal documents. By the time John and Anne were both paroled in 2011, they had no assets, their sons had disowned them,
She got no asset.
and their marriage had fallen apart.
Look at that. It's like
Well,
a
did their
wooden
marriage
board.
fall apart, or were they both in fucking jail for like 3 years?
Yeah, but she
Both.
divorced him.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to
whatever.
cause family drama when you get, indicted by the cops or whatever. And,
Anne moved to York, taking a job in a charity shop.
the old York.
But John moved back to Seton Carew, now known by its nickname, Seton Canoe.
Oh, dude, wordplay. Oh, that's props to that town for naming it that. That's hilarious.
He became something of a local celebrity. A posh local hotel even renamed one of their banquet halls as the Darwin Room.
Oh, that's they didn't do it for the fucking Charles Darwin, but they did it for this douchebag.
Is that
the
like-
fuck's the matter
This
with
is the
you people?
best Darwin.
It's just like Darwin.
How dare
like,
you, Slaton?
Like you can hide out in this room. Is that why they call it the Darwin room?
Yes, if you need to hide 400 people and have it catered with beef Wellington, come into the Darwin Room.
I would have that in my sex house, the Darwin room.
Yeah,
Pretend like you're going to America and prospecting for new businesses while your wife's at home.
Dude, how cool would
The
it be if there was...
Darwin room, filled with nerd cosplay girls with sweaters and glasses and gloves on, maybe even shoes, but nothing below the waist besides the shoes. The Darwin room. Prepare your boners now.
Also serving beef Wellington.
That sounds delicious. I don't know if you're trying to be sexually gay there, but I would totally eat beef Wellington off,
Bro, I'll beef your Wellington
off
anytime,
your
bro.
naked body. That's the one with the breading around it too, right? Beef
Yeah, the
Wellington?
wrapped.
Oh, and all the flavor. Oh my God, that dude. Can we just take a minute, listeners, and just think about beef Wellington? Even our vegan listeners, Teresa, just think about beef Wellington for a second. Oh. Okay, go on your story.
Soon after his release, he was nearly put back inside for making contact with the press. A year later, The Canoe Man, Panama and Back, was published with an agreement that he would not be allowed to make any money off his sale.
Okay, so he just
He did. They published the memoir, but he's not allowed to profit from it.
Okay, which he's like, dude, I just need some cash.
But he's trying to get a little bit of fame, which might help him profit in some other way.
Oh yeah, he could become a stand-up comic and tour the country and fill in all the improvs. Yeah,
In 2013.
or have a clothing line at
I
Kohl's.
was 2 years into comedy by now.
In 2013.
That's how I think about time. When did I start comedy?
That's hilarious. That was your real birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2013, John signed up for a series of dating websites, including RussianCupid.com,
That sounds hot.
a site for foreign brides to meet wealthy Westerners.
All right, that sounds more complex than what I thought. Never mind.
He eventually connected with Anna
Anytime you talk about dating and then you mention brides right away, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? We just said dating. Don't even bring marriage into it yet. Let's decide if we want to,
This guy's not Russian though, right?
No,
He
he's
just
English.
can't stop fucking lying.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
feel like Slaton
fucking
cleaned up the
liar.
story.
No. He's not saying that he's not. He's not saying that he's Russian.
Oh.
This is a site for foreign brides, for like Russian women and former Soviet women to meet wealthy Westerners.
You
But
can't
he's
Ron-
not wealthy, right?
Well, yeah, that might be a bit of a lie.
Fucking liar.
Yeah, actually, Ron was, you saw
He
that.
eventually
You saw that
connected
right there.
with Anna Avramenko, a 25-year-old single mother from Ukraine.
Oh, man, already hot. Right, guys? For the male listeners and our lesbian friends, right?
He bombarded her with sleazy messages,
Some of that comrade MILF.
including asking for a threesome,
Oh, yeah. Why
promising that he could, quote, satisfy any woman,
not? Okay, that's a little bit too much.
and telling
bragging.
her that his favorite hobby was kayaking.
Jesus Christ. Of course it is.
Kayaking up and down your vulva with my tongue. Right? He was just starting to say cunnilingus.
Look, I will tell you that I have much experience finding a little man in the canoe
Yeah.
I've been there. And
The little man in the kayak.
That's what he
Oh,
should
Slaton,
have
I love that. It's so genius for the. That's what he calls the women's little bean. He goes, "It's the little man in the kayak."
that's the red kayak, as I call it.
He should have went into kayak sales. Who wouldn't buy a fucking kayak?
Oh
from
my
this guy?
God!
Right?
He could have been a millionaire off
Yeah.
of selling kayaks.
And say this kayak you'll never turn it missing. Or
Dude,
something
John, if
like
you're
that.
Darwin, if you're listening, dude, we've got you covered, bro.
That's also
Yeah, man.
a racial slur for ginger Jews. A red kayak.
A red kayak.
Wait, a kayak, the beginning of any great adventure, because that was the beginning of his whole fucking
Oh
life.
my God.
Right?
Hit me up, John, whatever your fucking name is, Longbeard, John Jones. Hit me up. We can do business, brother.
Well, Ron, we got to find out if he's alive at the end
Oh
of the story.
shit, he
After-
might
He
be
might
dead.
be dead.
After 3 months of internet chat,
He
John,
actually died in a kayak.
parole be damned, boarded a plane and flew 1,700 miles to Ukraine.
Right? The dick wants what the dick wants.
When he arrived, he messaged Anna that he was in town and invited her to dinner. She agreed to meet with 2 of her friends. Over the meal, he tried to convince her that it's a Western custom to have sex on the first date.
Really?
She declined.
Yeah. That's just.
Then a reporter from Britain spotted him.
Can you go to another country and claim something about your country and then get people to do it?
That's just game, you know. Like you go to Asia and like, oh yeah, all Asian women must suck black dicks. Yeah, you just do what you can, you know. Put it.
I
out
tried
there.
that line, Ron, and it never worked for me. Just by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I tell Asian women, you have to
wanna
suck
put it-
black dicks, and they've never sucked mine.
Yeah,
And I don't know what the problem is.
And what they did was they looked right next to me and they said, "Rel, pull down your pants." I was like, "No, what about my dick? What about my black dick?" That is not a black dick. I'll tell you that right now.
So somehow a
more
reporter
Japanese,
got
right?
tipped off that he was there and showed up and took a photo. The next day, it appeared in a British tabloid. As soon as he landed back in London, he was arrested for a parole violation, but somehow avoided being sent back to prison.
So this guy is fucking newspaper, like the what do they call those? At the grocery store,
Yeah,
the
he-
shitty
no, yeah,
newspapers.
he's tabloid
He's the
fuck.
cover of People magazine, Us Weekly. Like
He's the
people
cover
know
of
his
like
face.
The Sun. He's the cover of
Sure,
like.
it's all the same. Slade.
Sure,
don't,
sure,
don't try to put a hierarchy on shit media.
I will, because it's how glossy is your paper.
That's what I ask everyone, right? How glossy is your paper, and suck this black dick.
But love could not avoid John Darwin.
Oh,
On February 5th, 2015, John, now 64, married Mercy May Avila, a 30-something-year-old Filipina from just outside Manila. They posted wedding photos online, but none of them appear to have any guests. He now lives with Mercy in a tiny, rundown apartment.
oh.
Sometimes in the Philippines, in
So
Manila.
he moved to the Philippines. Mm-hmm. He wants to lay low after all this crazy drama in his life.
Sometimes he helps his wife selling T-shirts and underwear at her market stall.
Oh,
But he spends most of his time at home to avoid the heavy pollution, covering his mouth with a rag whenever he goes outside.
it's that polluted in that town?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, no one ever told me that.
As a British citizen, he still gets a small pension of around $192 a week,
Damn. And in the Philippines, that's like, right?
which
That's like,
would sound bad unless you know the average salary in the Philippines is around $270 a month.
So he's bawling for doing nothing but being a criminal.
He is reportedly saving up so they can afford a better place.
How ironic that this motherfucker wanted to chop down the fucking rainforest. Meanwhile, he's living in pollution. There you have it.
That's
Huh?
what you get.
I don't know. That's pretty rude.
Why did he get $190 something?
Because it's his pension.
It's like his Social Security.
He got
still-
it a week.
He's
Ron,
still a
not just
British
month.
citizen,
Oh,
so he still gets like the British Social Security or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Damn, that's a crazy. Is that it?
that's the
it,
story
man.
So
of
he's still
John Darwin.
alive?
He's alive in the Philippines.
Does he have a good relationship with his Filipino wife? Are they happy? I mean,
Well, she like posts on Facebook a bunch of like, "Oh my god, I love you so much" type things.
well, that's always a great sign
One
for
of
how
his
relationships
sons
really
now
are.
talks to him again. The other son has never talked to him since.
Oh, wow.
His memoir you cannot really buy. I tried to buy it and I couldn't. His wife's memoir, I think it's called Out of My Depth, is available on Amazon. You can get that.
Get out of my depth with that big old thing.
I don't care if you can find the little red man in the kayak. I want you out of my depth.
That's my fucking favorite new thing. The little
The little red kayak.
my wife's gonna love that. She hates any kind of reference to clit that's silly. She thinks is just disgusting and rude.
That's funny.
I always joke about flicking the bean. And
The
she's always
tiny
like,
weeble wobble.
"Ew, babe, gross."
Yeah, I heard it was a tiny weeble wobble.
What a
It just
fucking
won't fall down.
story, man.
An
Wow.
interesting note, John getting that fake passport by doing the whole false identity thing ended up being referenced by lawmakers when they were discussing how the UK security was too lax.
For like terrorism,
for
and all that
terrorism stuff like that. They're like they were like, this idiot from this mining town was able to get a fake British passport real easy. So we need to tighten up our shit.
Man,
That's the story of John Darwin.
That was fucking great.
fucking John Darwin, man. And you know, he didn't kill anybody.
He didn't kill anybody.
I thought somebody was gonna die.
Sometimes people don't kill people in these stories.
Yeah. You know, fuck, that's no different from Wolf of Wall Street, man.
I
It's
mean,
kind of the same story. He's a bunch of fucked up shit, was rich, and then it all turned up to be fucked up.
today's sources include Playing Dead: A Journey Through the World of Death Fraud by Elizabeth Greenwood. This was one chapter in the book, by the way. So
That's a
again,
cool
that
name
book's
for a
called
metal
Playing
band.
Dead: A Journey Through the World of Death Fraud. This was just one chapter. It's a really cool book about people faking their deaths and how they do it and what they did.
Come see my band, Death Fraud, dude. We're playing
also-
next week at the Whiskey.
Also, the BBC, the Daily Mail, the Guardian, the Telegraph, the Journal, and of course, the evil robots at Wikipedia.
Hey, do you got anything to say about BBC after all the
BBC,
all
bruh?
the suck my black dick jokes? And
Blackberry custard. Blackberry custard.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's so sweet of you.
Yeah.
It's so sweet, Ron Taylor. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at bbc.com. That's Blackberry Custard. No, you can find me at Comedian Ron T on it. Do not type in BBC thinking you're going to see Blackberry Custard.
You're not going to see Blackberry Custard. What you're
Yeah.
going to see is
That sounds so
pictures
good
from
right
Ron's
now.
trip to Panama. That's what you're.
Yeah.
So where can people find you on the interwebs?
Find me at Comedian Ron T. Just type that into Google. I'll pop up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and everything.
You can see Ron
Yeah.
all the time at the Comedy Store in Hollywood and all over Southern California, being very, very funny. Check him out. You can follow our show on all social medias at CrimePod, CRiiiMEPOD. You can email the show, crimepodcast@gmail.com, with any questions, story ideas, dick pics. Label those for Shefsky.
Fuck yeah, I love them, dude. 3D as soon as possible when the technology lets it, dude. I want that boner to poke me when I open up the email.
Hell yeah, bro.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not know that I was gonna enjoy the story that much. I see this guy fucking Slaton working on this shit in the lot every day, and I'm like, there's no way this stuff can be that entertaining. It was, man.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad you had
I was
fun.
on the edge of my podcast seat. Just waiting to hear what happened to this fucking liar, fucking scam artist. But you know what? It was all worth it, brother.
Oh,
thank you so
it was
much for
worth
being
having
here,
you
Ron.
here.
You're
I
fucking awesome.
cannot wait to take a picture in your van in a minute here.
Yeah, dude. Oh, we have to. Yeah, guys, if you want to follow Ron, obviously hit him at social media.
Comedian Ron T.
He'll be tagged in our photos and whatever on Instagram. So come to our Instagram and follow him. And hit the share button if you can. Share it with a friend.
Share it with a friend.
Someone that you think will like the show.
Spread the love.
Thanks
Especially anywhere near Tennessee, because we're coming to Nashville in May.
Nashville, Tennessee. I can't fucking wait.
Yeah.
Guys, 5-star reviews. If you can give us reviews, this one is from Currently. Super funny. Thoughtful, funny, smart, while being stupid. My favorite type of humor.
Ooh, that's really nice.
Right? Thank you so much for leaving us that awesome review, Currently. Mwah.
We love you guys, and we will see you shortly
Fuck yeah.
back here at Crime. Bye, robot.